Taking Control of Your Financial Life, by Kiongo Derek Mwanguzi. Chapter 1, Understanding Your Financial Landscape. The first step toward mastering one's finances is to develop a clear understanding of the financial environment. Robert Kiyosaki, in his best-selling book, Rich Dad Poor Dad, makes the forthright assertion that financial literacy is the basis of financial success, without which one is simply walking in darkness. This is true even here, in Uganda, where the economic realities may be different, but the need for financial awareness is universal. Your finances can be viewed as a pie with three main slices: income, expenses, and assets. But Uganda's economy has really unique opportunities and challenges. Several citizens, employed, self-employed, or small business owners, have found it hard to balance incomes against expenses with ever-changing costs of living and erratic incomes. But you will find that the first step in taking control is to understand where the money goes. Managing income is one thing that can be done. David Bach tells in his book The Automatic Millionaire of how to simply allocate income. Such advice may be modeled on the typical Western, but it holds water here too. Think about your income in three buckets: essential expenses, like rent, food, and transport, your savings and debt repayment, and discretionary expenditure, spending on luxuries that make life worthwhile but are not indispensable. The 50/30/20 rule is an easy-to-follow guide on budgeting popularized by Senator Elizabeth Warren. You use 50% of the income for essential expenses like housing, food, and energy. The 30% goes to discretionary spending, those wants like Nyama Choma or a weekend trip to Jinja. The last portion is reserved for savings and debt repayment. It may sound unrealistic in Uganda's tight economic conditions but can still be quite relevant. Start small, maybe saving 10%, and climb. To begin, start tracking your expenses. As Susie Orman puts it in her book, The 9 Steps to Financial Freedom, find out everything about where your money goes. Divide expenses between essentials such as rent, food, and utilities and non-essentials such as entertainment and luxuries. The truth about spending is often surprising to most folks. Many of us in Uganda notice how little expenses, such as airtime, mobile data, and even boda rides, add up while we are not looking. Now, let's talk about the net worth concept, which sounds abstract. The very simple formula is, assets, liabilities equals net worth, from The Millionaire Next Door, Thomas J. Stanley and William D. Danko. Assets mean everything you have, your houses, your land, your cash, and your investments, while liabilities mean all that you owe, such as loans or outstanding bills. If you know this, you know where you stand in terms of personal finance. In fact, most people in Uganda, seeing land as key property, forget about its liquid forms or investments that will grow with time. Consider Alex. He is 28 years old and an entrepreneur from Kampala. After analyzing his finances, it dawned upon him that he was saving only 5% of his income. Bronzed by the principles we are discussing here, he raised the level of savings to 20% over time. He cleared UGX 5 million high-interest debt within 2 years and invested UGX 10 million in a low-risk mutual fund. For an already financially savvy Alex, a safety net in times of crisis and one that was resilient enough to take up blows when his business slowed down to a crawl during the COVID-19 pandemic. A journey of 1,000 miles starts with one step. Likewise, one must start small and mindful action to move on the path to financial mastery. It begins with tracking expenses, setting an income plan, growing assets while reducing liabilities, and small conscious approaches that eventually lengthen one's journey towards financial freedom. Over time, instead of waking up and showering changes all at once, better introduced small changes have a potential to transform your life. Every deliberate step will create discipline, clarity, and confidence in your finances, paving the way for liberation from financial stress and total freedom to make dreams come true.